Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to ZX Tech, and this is my review of the Huawei Y635, a truly not worth it smartphone.
Run free and dive into the sky.
First off, the design. On the front of the smartphone there is a 5-inch 480p display. Yes, I'm not kidding you, 480p, that button that is below 720p when you go to the YouTube video browser thing. Very low. Sharpness is definitely not there with such a low pixel per inch count, and the contrast is pretty much non-existent. It's an unbelievably low contrast display. Videos, games, whatever, it's not enjoyable on this device. Consuming media is just bad and just not nice, not fun, and not a good experience if you're doing that on the Huawei Y635. Above the display, there is an extremely underwhelming selfie camera that comes in at 0.8 megapixels, if I'm not wrong, as well as a earpiece for phone calls. Below the display, there are capacitive buttons for home, back, and multitasking, and on top of the smartphone, you find the audio jack and the micro USB port. I guess the audio jack is the only thing it has over any other smartphone, really, now. Now on the back of the smartphone, you find a 5 megapixel camera that I don't think you should really think about using at all. They could be good if you have no other camera on hand and you need to take picture of some crime scene evidence, but if you are taking pictures to put to your Instagram or your Facebook, you probably shouldn't be using this camera. On top of the camera there's a little microphone, and that's about it. The back also features this hard plastic removable back cover, which is, I guess, another feature that many other smartphones don't have, that it has. So props to the Y635, but it's a really low-end smartphone, so a removable back is probably just standard issue. Now, removing the back cover, you review a SD card slot, a SIM card slot, as well as a 2000 milliamp battery. Now, and that's about it. So yeah. So let's talk about the internal. It features a meager 1 GB of RAM, as well as a unnamed, I think, Snapdragon, because the GPU is Adreno, and Adreno is kind of Snapdragon's thing. Quad-core 1.2 GHz CPU and an Adreno 306 GPU. So actually not the worst in terms of performance. Maybe that's why the display is so crap. It has an internal storage of 4 GB and supports up to 32 GB in its micro SD card slot. I mean, really, this phone was released in mid-2015 and can't even have enough storage for some of the biggest games on the market, Hearthstone for example. After you include the space that is taken up by the pre-installed bloatware and the heavily skinned Android OS. Unbelievable. 4 GB. You can't live with that. Performance-wise, it's actually surprisingly snappy, and it's actually surprisingly snappy. Navigating in apps is actually pretty good, but not in the home screen, however, but I'll explain and elaborate more on that later. But in games and just using this phone, it's actually pretty darn fast. But I guess it's not that difficult because it's a 480p display, and the Adreno 306 GPU doesn't really have to work that hard to power these apps. It doesn't handle multitasking that well though, because of the small amount of RAM in there, but it's pretty decent, I guess. You can open about 4 apps before it will start auto-closing apps to create more RAM space for device usage. But if you are a heavy user, definitely avoid this, even if you're just looking for a cheap backup phone. Now, in terms of software, the Y635 comes with Android 4.4.2 out of the box. However, I did receive an update for Android 5.0.1 Lollipop, although there probably it won't be a support for Marshmallow and Nougat. So don't be hyped for that, especially if you are considering this phone. Yes. Its heavily skinned UI isn't that good either. Huawei's UI isn't the worst, especially on its high-end devices like the Honor 6X, Honor 5X. It actually looks really good there. But on this phone, with its meager quad-core and small amount of RAM, it definitely is trash. I mean, really, really bad. It puts a huge amount of strain on the device and makes home screen navigation just a terrible experience in general. And it runs smoother playing intense games than actually browsing the menu and looking for your apps. Unbelievable. In conclusion, is it a good or worth it phone? No, definitely not. Now, I may seem like I'm just completely hating on Huawei and this phone in general, but I have my reasons for this. I just think this smartphone is unbelievably disappointing and shouldn't even exist. First, I have my reasons. I have my reasons. First, the cost. It's $160 new back when it was launched in 2016. 160 USD. So it should have come down in price, right? Because it's 2017. I bought it in 2016, and the specs are trash. I bought this phone in 2016, about Q3, and it cost me £80. I mean, I did, when I say I bought it, it was my dad, because he broke his phone there on a holiday trip. Long story. £80 in the UK. £80. So if you convert that to USD, that's about 130, 140, and that was before Brexit. I think it's before Brexit, and that's just not very worth it, is it? Just think about it. I mean, it's not cheap at all, especially for such terrible phone. Second, the age. Now, I know it's an old phone, so definitely be lacking some of the features that you find in modern smartphones. But why is it being sold in the first place? If it was that old and that trash, Huawei would have drawn it back long ago. But Huawei seems to want to sell this at very close to full price. What? Just explain to me. Why would you do that? The phone is definitely obsolete, even in 2015 when it was launched. So, what the heck? I have a quick question to Huawei. Why release this phone in the first place? In the March of 2015, smartphone technology really went far past the quality of this smartphone. There was the Samsung Galaxy A3s, and similar things. Even the Ace performed better than this Huawei Y635 piece of trash. And so why would you waste time, money, R&D on a smartphone that just shouldn't even exist and shouldn't even be considered as an option of purchase? Seriously, Huawei? I mean, they are a huge company, a huge smartphone company with definitely enough resources to know that this is a horrible decision, because people who are looking into a super budget smartphone will just look to the left or look to the right or look up or look down and find another smartphone that performs way better, has a much better display, has a lighter OS, feels better, and it's just a better device in general for the same price. So Huawei, why do you make this phone in 2015, and why are you still selling it in 2016 and possibly 2017? Because I didn't go to the UK again, so I wouldn't know. So yeah, waste of time, waste of money, waste of R&D. Do not buy this phone. Bottom of the barrel trash. If you're looking for something really cheap, consider getting a used second-hand smartphone. You can check out my video here, somewhere on the screen, I think, if I finally learn how to use annotations, but whatever. And that's it, I guess, for this video. Alright. So, anyway, that's all for today. If you found it interesting, you found it helpful, you agreed with my rant about Huawei making a stupid-ass decision, launching this phone in 2015 and continuing to sell it all the way till now, do hit the thumbs up button. But if you didn't, you thought I was just hating, if you didn't agree with me, and you thought the video was a waste of time, do click the share button on the right and share the video with someone who's looking into this phone, or actually getting a phone very similar, bottom of the barrel crap like this one. And subscribe if you want to see more tech reviews like this. I'll be reviewing other devices. I'll have some tech exploration videos where I'll be doing some device explorations. I'll be doing some experiments, and some rants, some more rants. I love rants. Rants are fun. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.